For a week straight now, I've been dealing with angry Grace Randolph simps who have taken issue with me, wait for it, using my hands when I talk. The only way to respond to this type of criticism is to take up a few more minutes of your day conducting another symphony of truth. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
It's a very, very, very powerful medium. A group of people who are mostly strangers are sitting in the dark, and they've given you access to their brains through their eyes and their ears for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That's a big responsibility.
As much as some people try to undermine what I do here by desperately trying to deflect valid criticism away from whatever it is that they like, the fact remains is that the reason people get so upset with me from time to time is because typically what I'm saying is hitting very close to home. There's usually some level of truth to it, and a lot of people don't know how to process that level of honest opinion. Because once again, they are used to people on this platform telling them exactly what they want to hear.
Not up in here!
Not up in here!
Yet every single day we have other content creators, or yes, even people in Hollywood, basically confirming a lot of the things that I say on a weekly basis. If I make a video saying that real film criticism is dead, a lot of people get upset at that. But 2 minutes later, we have clowns like these individuals on the Escape Pod podcast who are saying that Captain America: Civil War is a better film than Oppenheimer.
You serious?
And they're not saying this because they have any level of knowledge as to what actually makes a great film. They're just using their platform to make these outlandish statements that no one with a brain actually believes. It's people like them who are the reason why we can't get better films out of Hollywood. And for perspective, on the same podcast, this same person said that Rian Johnson understands Star Wars better than George Lucas, its creator. And people accuse me of just saying bull for clicks. Truthfully, a lot of you are angry at the wrong person, but I get it. It's easier to criticize the person who is actually being genuine, rather than call out these two dweebs with a platform that they do not deserve. It's become very clear to me that certain people do more damage to film discussion than they do good with their platforms.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
And I strongly believe that more people need to speak up about that. Moving on from all of that, there are also major issues with creativity going on in modern Hollywood right now. And it stretches far beyond any kind of writers or acting strikes that's going on. Because there were massive issues with storytelling in Hollywood before all of that even happened. Now, we could chalk that up to unreasonable working conditions and studios setting release dates for films before they even have a script.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
I can imagine it would be very difficult to write the best script possible if you have a studio exec constantly breathing down your neck because they are simply worried about meeting a deadline. But the real issue going on in Hollywood right now is even bigger than that. And the real issue is something that people like Scorsese and Tarantino and Matt Damon have talked about extensively in recent years. And we could now add David Fincher to that long list of people.
My man.
That's right, the legendary director of Seven, Zodiac, and The Social Network, and one of my personal favorite directors of all time, came out recently and talked about his working relationship with Netflix. He said he's been working with Netflix because Hollywood is only interested in Happy Meal tentpole films, saying, quote, "If we only did the stuff that was smart, there'd probably only be Marvel, Star Wars, and Jurassic Park movies." Something that the dipshits over at the Escape Pod podcast would probably rejoice in. Now, to be clear, I'm not a fan of Netflix at all. I've been highly critical of their quantity over quality business model, a business model that rarely produces any Netflix original movies that are worthwhile. Netflix produces a ton of garbage, just like Hollywood does, but the message behind what David Fincher is saying here is 1000% true.
He's out of line, but he's right.
This is the reality of the situation. Hollywood currently spends far too much money on their productions. This means they have very little room for error, and up until the recent string of flops that we've seen at the box office, comic book movies and movies based on established IPs are the only projects that they were willing to roll the dice on.
No, don't like that.
And a majority of the blame for that falls on audiences, because for a long time, those were the only type of movies that people would go out and support. It made Hollywood unwilling to take a chance on original ideas, which is why directors like Scorsese, Tarantino, Nolan, and yes, even David Fincher are becoming more and more frustrated with the Hollywood machine and how it functions.
This is whack! I can't get jiggy with this shit!
True artists like that are not interested in rehashing or reinterpreting things that have been rehashed and reinterpreted time and time again. All of those people I just mentioned make movies based on what inspires them. And this has become a foreign concept in modern Hollywood. That's why a movie like Oppenheimer is so important and why it deserves all the recognition and success that is coming to it.
Get what you deserve!
Because a movie like that goes against everything that modern Hollywood stands for. For audiences to embrace a movie like that, it sends a message to Hollywood that it's okay to make more movies like it. It's okay to put control of what's being made back in the hands of creative people and storytellers. It really sucks that David Fincher had to go all the way to Netflix to obtain that level of creative freedom again. But if nothing else, it should tell you exactly how bad things are in Hollywood creatively.
That makes sense.
When people are going to Netflix, of all places, just to be able to express themselves. At the very least, I have to give Netflix some credit for allowing directors like Scorsese and Fincher to do what they do best. And that, very simply, is to tell stories that inspire them. I think modern Hollywood could learn a thing or two if they opened their minds just a little bit and listened to some of these creative people who are starting to come out and speak out against the way that they do business.
Pay attention, you just may learn something here.
I'm very much looking forward to David Fincher's The Killer that's coming out later this year on Netflix, more so than I am anything coming out of Hollywood right now. Because I already know, without even having seen it, that the work was put into it. The people behind it actually care about what they're doing and aren't just in it for a paycheck.
Because it's all part of the plan.
That's what excites me as a cinema fan, and that's why I'm so hard on the bullshit we typically get. If that makes me toxic, then so be it. But like some of my favorite directors, I'd rather stand up for something that I believe in than be consistently accepting of mediocrity.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.